going to bounce back and look at some of the fundamentals, all the way back to the beginning. We have to keep that street fight or real-world violent encounter mentality always at the forefront of our thought process. And fighting is primitive, it's ugly, it's fast, it's violent, and we need to train. Even when we're at home doing solo training, we need to train with that thought process. All of the additional things in our Kenpo techniques and our complicated Jujitsu techniques are going to support that, but they shouldn't be the primary concern. Which is why we're going to bounce back to the C loop. If you go back and you look at your notes, so scan using your senses. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? What's going on? Evaluate. Is what I am seeing, hearing, and smelling normal for the situation I'm in, for the location I'm in, for the time of the day that it is? And then act. Based on those previous two steps, you're either going to leave, avoid, de-escalate, fight, escape, and so on. Now, that process, after you start living with that mentality, will become shorter, but the way to really shorten that up is to reduce or actually remove the E, the evaluate process. The only way you do that is by studying, watching videotape, and life experience and or training experience. Because eventually you just want to scan and act. The evaluation should be something that you are constantly improving on. And that is where we need to be. So that is the C loop. That's your mentality. That's the way you look at how you live your life. Okay? Then we have the physical stuff. And the physical things are priorities. What are my priorities if things go down? I try to avoid, but I can't. Now I've got a guy in front of me who's arguing with me, or who's trying to be a distracting conversation for his partner over here. You would know that because as you were preparing for the evaluation step earlier, we have exposed you and all of our students to these setups, if you will. So you're evaluating, you're de-escalating, you're carrying yourself in a confident manner. You're not being held down or locked eyeball to eyeball with somebody because you understand that eye contact isn't important. What's important is eye glancing and then always looking at their hands. Where are their weapons? Where is the friends? Hands, weapons, friends. That's it. If you can talk your way out, outstanding. Go ahead, grab you, any loved ones you may be with, and look at how that even occurred when you get home. Okay, it's kind of like an after-action review. Let's say you can't avoid it. Once you feel unsafe, you blast. The straight blast, the heel palm strike, the straight punch to the chest. You need to act first. As soon as you feel unsafe, boom, you dominate that environment. If you're thinking that's a little bit harsh, what about if this, and this happens? Listen, if there's an in-between point, move in. Get close to that bad guy. A lot of people used to ask me when I would bounce, I used to do a lot of floor watching. People would be like, man, you're always looking down. Well, the reason why I would do that is I would feign that it was harder to hear. So once I felt something was wrong with this individual, I'd say, I'm sorry, go ahead. And what I'm doing is I'm moving into their personal space. I would turn my head this way because it would drop my chin, bite down a little bit, and I could put my hand on their body or their arm in a friendly manner, like I'm actually trying to listen to what they have to say. When in reality, I'm trying to get a tactile sense of where their energy is at. So that can be an in-between point if you don't want to just explode into them. We can get caught off guard standing flat-footed. So we need to train from these positions just as often as we train from maybe the better positions that we have. Okay, so you have the C loop, that takes care of the mind aspect of things. You have the physical aspects as far as I'm going to avoid, de-escalate, engage. How am I going to engage? Am I going to get close so I can connect a little bit? Or am I just going to start striking? Simultaneously with the physical part, we need to control the angles. Now, I can get caught flat-footed here. It happens. Just deal with it. If you need to drop your center of gravity a little bit, flinch up, double palms into a straight blast, and then you cut your 45. That's what you need to do. So before I can try any of my self-defense techniques, if I am totally caught off guard, I'm probably going to flinch. So just train a flinch where you drop your battissimo, both hands get up, you cover, and you move forward. You need to drive pressure, okay? The reason why I'm doing that is because I need to get an extra beat or two on the situation. And the best way to do that is connecting with the bad guy. It's really what I want to do. It takes me away from the end of their punches. It allows me to connect and use them as a human shield, or employ some of my various techniques and tools that I have available to me. Again, connection is important. That's why I used that trick when I was bouncing. Simultaneously with all the things we've already discussed physically, I want to have a goal of getting to an angle. Okay, I want to stand at either their 10 o'clock or their 2 o'clock. Or think of 45s, 45-degree angles. I don't want to be standing in front of someone. If that's the way it works out, I have some options. But the goal is to get off to an angle and hopefully have them looking at their 12 o'clock. So you want to practice moving in a way that's conversational, even if it's just taking a slight step out to the side and angling off. Maybe stepping back and then forward. Just try to get off, like a lot of you have heard in the military, get off the X. Now that's just for conversational and for initiation phases. Once we are engaged in battle, in physical fighting, I want to get to the side and then eventually behind them. So that is my positional goal in a real-world violent encounter. I always want to be to the side or behind the person. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm not going to engage in a boxing match. I'm going to go for those goals. Drive forward. I'm going to connect during the conversation, pretend that I'm hard of hearing. Say again. And gain the sense of tactile energy from the person. And then I will go once I determine I'm not safe or the environment's not safe for my family. So those are other options. After you get sucker punched and you flinch, okay, forward pressure into that threat. That is most often going to be your best bet, so you need to train your instinct to do that, okay? Then from there, I can realize the benefits of connection. I can I can predict what that person is going to do next, as long as I have practiced this in training. I can prevent them from moving in certain ways. Maybe I can promote or cause them to move a certain way. So through that connection, and then you decide when you're going to break contact, detach, and your Kenpo can come into play. In real life, shoves get in. People distract, shoves get in. So am I ever going to probably see someone with a two-hand push, step back, and work one of my techniques? No, not really off the push. But because I've trained a technique from a two-hand push, I know that if I cover, move in, connect with that person, straight blast, get an overhook, an underhook, and we disengage for a split second, and I move their arms apart, then I can go into one of my techniques. So when you start combining your Kenpo principles, marriage of gravity, economy of motion, learning how rotation works, how torque works, and then you combine them with the tactile principles of jiu-jitsu, where it's connection, right distance, detachment. Man, you're gonna have a powerful toolbox to work from. Now that we've done that little review, I want you to go back, run through those videos again, and then create your own audio coach type of drill, where you're standing there talking, somebody just jumps in front of you, so you flinch. You might frame out, run forward into a straight blast, cut your angle, start looking around, then go back at them because you know that they're going to have a weapon and a friend. Okay? Maybe you slip, so then you do the TV watcher to get back up. Maybe you slip and you notice their friend's coming at you, so you use the guard retention drill that we've practiced before to determine what side you're going to protect and what side you're going to try to escape out of. Then you get back up, choose what angle you're going to cut on which bad guy first, and you move in on them. So practice these drills, practice moving, falling down, getting up, strike, 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 cut an angle. Where are their hands? Where's the weapon? Where's their buddy? That kind of stuff. And you're going to have a lot of fun with this. So until next time, take care.